Have you ever wanted a really easy pumpkin farm, or one that you can expand pretty easily? Well, have you come to the right place? As you can see, I have a perfectly functioning one. It does produce a bit, and you can set it at AFK. You can expand it too, if you need to. And it's pretty easy to set up. As you can see, there's no trickery with the redstone. So, if you guys want it, let's jump in to the tutorial. So, what you're going to need for this farm is you're going to need 27 solid blocks. Stone brick is a pretty good option. Cobblestone also works, and so does stone. Then you're going to need 4 dirt, 4 mud, depending on how big of a farm you want to make it. It should be 1 per block you want to make it, but for this farm we're going to do 4 for each. You're also going to want 12 glass, 1 water bucket, 4 observers, 4 pistons, 10 redstone dust, 2 repeaters, 1 pumpkin seed, or 4 if you want to get started quicker, but you can theoretically start this with 1. Then you're going to need 1 hoe, 2 chests, and you're going to need 9 hoppers. And then you can just take this all out. But you're going to want to leave the redstone stuff for a second, because you could do that last. So if you want to, you can put it in your inventory. So what you're going to want to do to start is you're going to want to place 1, 2, 3, 4 of your solid blocks, just like that. Then come to this side, leave this block as a gap, and then go 1, 2, 3, 4. Do the same on this side. Go 1, 2, 3, 4. Do the same on this side. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then you're going to want to break here, break here, break here, and place 2 chests just like that. Then break this whole section, so these 2 rows, leave this front row up, and place your hopper off the back of the chest. Then place 1 off that hopper, place another hopper off that hopper, and then keep doing that. Then place hoppers on each hopper, like so. And you got to make sure they are facing into the other hopper, like this. Should be facing into the hopper. You'll know if that pointy bit at the end right here is facing the right way, or facing into the other hopper. Then, once you got all your hoppers set up, you're going to place all your mud right back here, then dirt on the other set of hoppers. Then till it all. Then place your water, and if you want to, you can make this solid water like this. You don't have to. And then you can place your pumpkin seeds just like this. Now you can place a temporary block right here with glass right above the water, then glass over here, then glass on this side. Then you can move most of these items out of the way, and then place the rest of your glass on top, and grab the rest of this. I'll reorganize this. So it should look like this, and you actually can get rid of the glass. What you should have is this. Then, once you've got your glass placed, you're going to want to put your glass back in your pocket if you have any more. And then you're going to place all of your pistons right there. Then you're going to place your observer off this glass right here, just like that, with redstone dust on top of it, and blocks on top here. Then you're going to place a block here, redstone dust, place a 2-ticker repeater right there, and a 1-tick repeater right there. So it should look exactly like this. Then you can place row of blocks down here like that, redstone dust here, then place a block on top right next to this repeater. Then you've got yourself a working pumpkin farm, and all you have to do is wait for them to spawn, or wait to. All you have to do is wait for the pumpkins to grow, and you've got yourself a working pumpkin farm. And then when you want to check how many pumpkins you've got, just come to this chest and open it. So, I hope you enjoyed this little tutorial. If you have any other tutorials that you want, leave them in the comment section below. But other than that, I hope you enjoyed and have a great day. Bye!